In today's video, I'm going to be diving into Performance Max brand bidding in Google Ads, and I'm going to talk about if you should be doing it and what's the best way to go about it. Whether or not to bid on your own branded keywords in Google Ads is an age-old discussion that seems to never go out of fashion. But how does this question apply specifically to Performance Max? So many advertisers rely so heavily on Performance Max that it's going to be worthwhile to discuss specific strategies here. Stick with me and I'll give you the lowdown on the value of brand bidding, and I will share with you the specific strategies that I put in place for it, for me and my clients. I'll even show you how to check the CTR of your organic results for your branded searches. Let's dive in. First up, let's discuss the idea that you don't need to bid on your own brand in Google Ads because you are going to get all those clicks anyway. This is a very common idea, and because of this idea, a lot of people refuse to bid on their own brand. It makes total sense on the surface. Why pay Google for clicks for people who are going to come to my site anyway? It's a waste, right? Well, hang on just a second there. Let's take a look at that same idea, but let's word it another way. When you say you are going to get all the clicks anyway, what you are really saying is, I think the click-through rate on my branded keyword organic search listing is 100%. 100%. Let me ask you, have you ever heard of any form of marketing that gets a 100% click-through rate? Not me. And in fact, various studies have shown that organic branded keyword searches get around about a 30 to 50% click-through rate, depending on which study you look at. This means that even when someone searches specifically for your brand, probably half or more of the time, they do not actually click your branded organic search listing. You can actually check your branded keyword click-through rate in the organic search listings for yourself. Don't take what I say for granted. Head over to Google Search Console and you will be able to see your CTR for your branded terms. Log in to Google Search Console and click Performance. Scroll down a bit and you will see your search queries. Here's where you can see the clicks and impressions for my agency's branded keyword, Big Flare. As you can see, my brand keyword gets 22 clicks and 137 impressions in this time period. So if we divide 22 by 137, we get 0.16, 16%. People sometimes search for my brand as one word without the space in between. So here in Search Console, you can see I got 6 clicks for 23 impressions for that. Divide 6 by 23, you get 26%. So for me, my brand search CTR is actually around 16 to 26% in the organic keyword results. So let's just call it a even 20%. That is far away from the 100% CTR that some people assume they get on their branded keywords. And in case you are wondering, yes, I am showing up in the top spot for my branded keywords. Here you can see me showing up top on Google when I search for Big Flare. Let's do a little survey. Go over to Google Search Console now and calculate your branded keywords click-through rate. Pop your answers in the comments below this video, and let's get a little poll going for everyone's branded keyword CTR in their organic search results. This will be fun. I'm sure many of you get a better CTR on your brand than I do. I mean, I think my 20% is quite rubbish, but I also bet that no one here is getting a 100% CTR. And that there is where I think the value of Performance Max or Google Ads brand bidding comes into play. You might get a higher CTR on your branded keywords than me, but I doubt it's 100%. Go and check in Search Console, whatever percentage you are seeing there, invert the percentage to see how many clicks you are losing. In my case, with my 20% CTR, I'm losing out on 80% of the clicks. So the value of brand bidding in Performance Max is that it allows you to capture more of those clicks that you are missing out on. Let's look at 2 examples. Here we have a branded search for Urban Outfitters. You can see they are bidding on their brand in the shopping section up here at the top, and it's giving them this nice row of shopping ads so people can click directly to the product page. They also have the top spot for paid search, which you can see here, then there is their organic listing below. One thing that's always true about search is that the more of the top of the page you dominate, the higher your overall click-through rate. I would bet my life savings that Urban Outfitters is getting a much better overall click-through rate on branded searches than they would do if they didn't bid on brands and didn't have this dominance that they are showing here. Contrast that to this page here from Temu. No brand bidding is in play, only this organic brand listing. Not only would I bet this gets a lower click-through rate overall, but also look at this, because they are not taking up as much space as they can, I can actually see these questions here that people have about Temu. People are asking if it's a trustworthy site, and then the immediate answer is that they are not accredited by the Better Business Bureau. The second question about their stuff being cheap shows an answer about their low-cost manufacturing. This is quite damaging to their brands to see this stuff, and if they had enabled brand bidding in Performance Max, then they would be taking up so much more space at the top that this question and answer box would be pushed further down the page, making it much less likely people would see it. Now, Performance Max, as you likely already know, is a sort of jack-of-all-trades campaign type. It places your ads in many different placements across Google and its network. Specifically on the search results page, Performance Max brand ads will show up in two places: shopping ads and search text ads. And how I think about brand bidding in Performance Max is different based on whether we are talking about the shopping side of things or the search side of things. The two things are not the same, so they need slightly different thinking. We have already covered how you're going to boost your overall CTR by brand bidding in Google Ads, but CTR is not the only metric to think about. Think about conversion rate as well. There is something that is pretty much always true about conversion rate optimization, and that is more clicks equals lower conversion rate. What this means is that the more clicks you put in between the user and what they want, the lower your overall conversion rate. Every single extra click the user must do to buy your stuff is an extra potential drop-off point. Let's say I wanted to buy this lovely top right here. Not for me, obviously, maybe it's a nice gift for my wife or something. Alright, so if I click here on the shopping ad, I go straight to the product page. I click add to bag, then I click cart, and boom, I am in the checkout. What if I click down here on their organic listing? I'm on the home page. To find a nice top for my wife, I then have to click over here to the women's section, find something that I like, click on it, add it to the bag, and then to the cart. In the first case, my click path was Google shopping ad, product page, checkout. In the second case, my click path was Google organic brand result, homepage, category page, product page, checkout. That's a whole 2 extra clicks in this example to get where I want to go. 2 extra clicks are 2 extra chances for me to abandon the whole process, so the overall conversion rate is likely to be lower in the second example. So with branded ads in Performance Max and Google Ads, you're going to get a higher CTR and you're going to get a higher conversion rate. What's not to love about that? Now the question isn't binary. It's not a case of either branded ads in Performance Max have 100% value or that they have 0% value. The true answer is somewhere in the middle. They have some value. Some of the clicks and sales you get from your branded ads are incremental, but some of them you would have gotten anyway. So I do recommend that you do brand bidding in Google Ads in most cases. However, you need to be sure to pay the right amount for them. Some of the clicks and sales you would have gotten anyway. So you should be paying less per click and have a higher return on ad spend when it comes to brand campaigns. How do we go about that? Here's what I do. First up, let's talk about search ads. What I recommend doing here with search brand bidding is to, yes, do it, but don't let Performance Max do it. Instead, put it in your own manually run standard search campaign. Do not exclude your brand from Performance Max, because not only will that exclude you from showing branded search ads, it will stop you from showing those branded shopping ads as well, which I think have very high value due to their effect on conversion rate. You don't actually need to exclude your branded keywords from Performance Max in order to ensure that your manual branded search campaigns get the click. Instead, create a dedicated search campaign for your branded keywords. Add your brand keywords into that campaign and add every single possible spelling, misspelling, and variation into that campaign. This will actually make Google prioritize your search campaign over Performance Max when it's deciding which campaigns search ads to show for your brand. Add all your brand keywords to this dedicated brand search campaign and make sure to aim its target very high. For example, for e-commerce, I typically want to see my branded search campaign get above a 1000% return on ad spend. At this level, even if I would have gotten half of those sales anyway, well, that's still a decent 500% incremental return on ad spend, which for most advertisers with good margins is still great. Now let's come to the shopping portion of your Performance Max brand bidding strategy. In most cases, what I actually do here is to just let Performance Max run the branded shopping ads for me and adjust my ROAS targets accordingly. So let's say you want at least 1000% ROAS on branded terms, but for non-branded terms, you're happy with, say, 200% ROAS. Just example numbers. So I would let Performance Max run the branded shopping ads. I wouldn't make an exclusion there, and instead, when thinking about my ROAS targets for the campaign, I would bear in mind that some portion of that traffic is branded, and I would use a higher ROAS target than I would have done if I knew that all my traffic was non-branded or truly new customers. So in the example where I want 1000% ROAS on brand and 200% ROAS on non-brand, I might aim my Performance Max campaign somewhere in the middle, but closer to the non-brand side of things, so I might go with, say, 400% return on ad spend target for my Performance Max campaign overall. Now, if I thought that my branded terms were getting a very high share of spend in Performance Max, then I might aim the ROAS target higher, closer to my brand target. In most cases though, Performance Max campaigns get some brand traffic, but most of it is non-brand. So normally I will aim Performance Max in the middle, but closer to the overall non-brand ROAS target. There is actually a way to split your branded shopping ads out of Performance Max and have those terms in a separate campaign. I don't normally do this because honestly it's a bit messy and imperfect and doesn't work well 100% of the time. But what you can do is add a brand exclusion to Performance Max, then set up a standard shopping campaign. Because Performance Max gets budget priority in most scenarios, Performance Max will continue to show shopping ads on non-branded queries. But now that it is not showing ads for your branded keywords, your standard shopping campaign that does not have this brand exclusion running will grab those terms and hey presto, you now have, in theory, a dedicated brand shopping ads campaign that you can aim at a higher return on ad spend. Now, I actually hesitated to mention this method because in my experience, it's a bit messy because the split is not perfect. Your standard shopping campaign will still pick up some non-branded keywords, the segmentation doesn't work perfectly, so what you actually end up with is not really a branded shopping campaign, instead it's more like a mostly brand but some non-brands shopping campaign. Now, there are other reasons for bidding on your brand in Google Ads. The clicks are cheap, you block your competitors, you get to control the ad copy, etc. I didn't cover those reasons today because I think the most important reason is bidding on brand in Performance Max makes you more money than if you don't. Probably. That's thanks to the increase in CTR and increase in conversion rate that you probably get when you do it. If you'd like to see more of my strategies for running and optimizing Performance Max campaigns, then I highly recommend you check out this video up here. In it, I cover critical Performance Max optimizations that my team and I use on all our clients, and I bet there's going to be at least a few things in there that you hadn't thought of.